Man City beat West Ham 2-1, and City's defence have made a difference to the side all season, at the end that they should be. But in this game, Shaka, it was at the other end with Ruben Dias and John Stones getting the goal. Let's start with Ruben Dias's goal. Obviously, a great ball in from Kevin De Bruyne. But as for Dias, do you think it's a toss-up between him and Bruno Fernandes, who's going to get PFA Player of the Year this year?
I think so, without question. And you look at the contributions of both of them. On different ends of the field. I think the one complaint that many have had about Bruno Fernandes, particularly of late, is that sometimes his contributions aren't at the level that you would expect or you've come to expect, though he's been amongst the goals. Whereas Ruben Dias certainly has transformed Manchester City defensively. The cynical view I'll offer to that is I think City are playing a lot. City has transformed the way they've defended as well. So I think there's arguments 2 and 4 each. Obviously, Ruben Dias going down the other end and getting his first Premier League goal for the club is something to sit up and take notice of now, especially in these voting competitions that favor the goal scorers more so than the defenders.
And then you've got John Stones as well. And who would have known that he would come back into form like this and be looking like this player once again?
Yeah, and that for me is the most amazing of the transformations. When you have suffered a blow to your confidence as John Stones had done, ordinarily the only way to get your mojo back is a move away. And that didn't seem like coming. And you just felt that John Stones was withering at the Etihad. And then all of a sudden, this season comes along, and maybe it's that renewed confidence about City defensively. Maybe it's the partnership with Ruben Dias, who's breathed new confidence into John Stones, but he's looking like the player that everybody thought he would be. We all know how good he is on the ball. We all know about how good he is passing the ball out to the back, and which is what attracted him to Pep Guardiola in the first place. But now he's formed a part of a defensive partnership that is the envy of all, not just in Manchester or the Premier League, but probably in European football.
That's 20 consecutive wins for Man City. Sergio Aguero's back. We can't take too much from his performance today with the amount of time he's been out, but it just adds yet another tool to everything that they've got going for them this season. Can you see them winning it all?
Yes, I without question. You look at their form, how they've fared over recent weeks. I don't think anybody in Europe has been playing as good football. I say that, one caveat, and we were discussing this on the show this week, Bayern Munich, who stumbled since coming back from Qatar, where they were crowned world champions. And then all of a sudden they turn in a performance in the Champions League against Lazio that again reminds you of who the best teams in Europe are. Right now, as far as the Champions League goes, which obviously is the highest of the hurdles for both, the two best teams are Manchester City and Bayern Munich. If the draw is kind, you think those are the two that will be pitted in the final. And what a game that would be.
Oh, it really would. Pep Guardiola as well, his winning record is just spectacular. And obviously, he's had his doubters along the way, which sometimes feels a bit ludicrous. But right now, obviously, there's still things to win this season, but he's silencing a few of those critics, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And a lot have pointed that despite Pep Guardiola's reputation and his record, he simply hasn't won the Champions League since leaving Barcelona, a Barcelona team that had Lionel Messi in its ranks. Now, I for one, I don't see how you hold great players against a manager's record and reputation. He's still very highly thought of in Munich, though not delivering the Champions League, and maybe the foundations that he laid went on to serve them well in years to come, and see this team continue to perform as they are. I'm taking absolutely no credit away from Flick, given the transformation that you've witnessed from Bayern Munich under his tutelage. But this really is as good a team as you've seen. And the Champions League has eluded Manchester City up to now. Listen, it's a tough competition to win. But right now, Pep Guardiola looks like he's going to bury some of those goals, some of those doubts.
Let's talk a little bit about your former club, West Ham. Obviously, a club very dear to your heart, which is why I was surprised whether you were wondering whether they would make the top four this season. They came into this clash in the top four. Obviously, the match day can change things. But after 25 games in the Premier League, to be up there is something special. And to be honest, Shaka, they almost got a point today in this game against this Man City side. So would you like to change your mind?
I'm moving towards changing my mind, but I'm not quite there yet. Okay, listen. As a West Ham fan, you're cynical and you expect the worst. And that for me is a challenge. You just think that for all the hope that the good football is bringing, you just wonder if it's a step too far. Coming into this, and we were talking about this on the show this week, I wasn't certain. I still feel Liverpool has an easier run in. I know it's 13 games between now, or 12 games between now and the end of the season. So whether that qualifies as a run-in or not, I'm not sure. But Liverpool has probably, of the three contenders, Liverpool, Chelsea, and West Ham, I think Liverpool has the easiest of the three finishes to the season. Chelsea probably has the easiest run right now, but then have the toughest of the finishes. And then I wanted to see how West Ham would fare against Manchester City. Not the result, but just how they would shape up, how they'd approach this game. And it was a lot more positive, a lot better than I would expect. And I think you build on that. You build on the nearly miss. So while I am not quite yet ready to say I think West Ham are favourites to finish top four, I'm moving in that general direction. Give me another couple of weeks.
I will. I'll be reminding you next time we're on together.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.